Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to your HIMediaTV news update. I am your host, Evan from HIMediaTV, and from Newsweek by Omar Mohammed, the housing market takes ugly turn in terms for the future. So we will see if this is an ugly turn for home owners or a ugly turn for home buyers, because those are two separate demographics. I am a home buyer. I am somebody who does not own a home, who wants to own a home, and is prohibited from owning a home because of the current market. Home owners are baby boomers who refuse to sell their house for anything less than $1 million. And just to get into the piece proper, declining prices in certain housing markets portends a declining reality for homeowners looking to sell. Okay, cool. It's good for us, bad for the established people already. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, housing is not a commodity. If you buy a home and paint it, furnish it, and work on it with intent to sell it before you die, or have a gigantic life change to where that you weren't expecting, where you're moving to another part of the country for a new opportunity, when you buy a home, morally, you should expect to be in that house forever, or at least for like the next 30 some odd years. Treating it like a commodity makes you an asshole. Just remember that. In parts of the Sun Belt, which experienced a boom in housing demand because of migration from other parts of the country during the COVID-19 pandemic, the housing market is seeing a skyrocketing inventory along with skyrocketing price cuts. Good. This means that more supply in the market, and of that supply, it seems more of it is seeing list price reductions. Perhaps there was a bit of stubbornness at first 1 or 2 years ago, but now many of these sellers are kind of capitulating and reducing the price, especially in Colorado, Arizona, Texas, Florida, Tennessee. So, with the exception of Colorado, I want you to remember, ladies and gentlemen, that Arizona, Texas, Florida, and Tennessee are all either red or deep red states. Arizona, not so much. It's more of a purple state now, but that's literally just Phoenix doing that. Texas, Florida, and Tennessee, their policies around their economic policies, social policies have led to not only a brain drain of lots of different professions, and in especially in Florida with Ron DeSantis' continued, crusade on, social policy and things like that, have made Florida a significantly less desirable place to move and place roots in, and especially buy homes in. One man I'm aware of, who I'm familiar with, who did flip houses down in Florida quite a bit, isn't anymore because of how volatile the market is, especially since I believe it was Congress. It was either Congress or one of the governing bodies basically said, we're not going to be covering flood insurance in Florida anymore. And many insurers have left that market due to the amount of flooding that is liable to happen there. Whether like climate change, denial or not, it is unsustainable. It is financially a bad market for insurance. So, seeing a precipitous decline in the available, in housing prices in those areas is not surprising in the slightest. There is some signaling that there is going to be that this drop could allow some people to buy a home, but unfortunately, until the housing prices kind of, the greedflation that was present kind of reduces, and ultimately banks like BlackRock, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, find it inopportune to continue buying all of these houses, especially with how high interest rates are. Ultimately you must remember that a high interest rate is good for the individual owner. Low interest rates are good for people who own multiple homes. So remember, from a financial perspective, if you are a individual or a person trying to own a home, a singular home, for the first time, higher interest rates generally will make it easier for you to try and find a home, due to the fact that it will dissuade institutional buyers and banks from buying that inventory, because you paying, say, 7% interest on your home loan, over the course of 30 years, that is manageable. But BlackRock spending 7% on 150 homes over the course of 30 years, that is untenable. That is going to eat into their profits significantly. So remember, high interest rates generally only benefit institutional buyers. So keep that in mind. But regardless, yes, we're seeing some downturns in prices. This is generally good for anybody under the age of $1 billion who doesn't own a home. Mazel tov. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. This has been your HIMediaTV news update. I am your host. Thank you so much for listening, and we'd love to have you join our community at himedia.gg/discord. Our Discord invite link can be found there, and we'd love to have you. Thank you so very much for listening. I appreciate you, your time, and your listenership, and I'll see you guys next time.